Dr. Leela Patel stood on the tarmac, her heart racing with anticipation as the alien craft descended from the sky. The sleek, organic curves of the ship gleamed in the sunlight, a stark contrast to the angular mechanical designs of human technology. As the lead xenobiologist on the United Nations First Contact Team, Lila had spent years preparing for this moment. But nothing could have fully readied her for the reality of meeting an extraterrestrial species. The ship landed with a soft hiss, and a hush fell over the gathered crowd of dignitaries, scientists, and media representatives. A ramp extended from the craft, and three figures emerged, their movements fluid and graceful. The aliens, who called themselves the Zephyrians, were tall and slender, with smooth, iridescent skin that shimmered in hues of blue and green. Their large, almond-shaped eyes conveyed a sense of deep intelligence and curiosity. Lila stepped forward, her heart pounding as she extended a hand in greeting. "Welcome to Earth," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "I am Dr. Lila Patel, and on behalf of the United Nations and all of humanity, I offer you our friendship and hospitality." The lead Zephyrian, a female named Zara, took Lila's hand in her own, and a warm, tingling sensation spread up Lila's arm. "Thank you, Dr. Patel," Zara said, her voice melodic and soothing. "We come in peace, seeking to share our knowledge and technology with your people. We believe that together we can achieve great things and usher in a new era of prosperity for both our species." As Lila and Zara spoke, exchanging pleasantries and discussing the potential for collaboration, Jack Walker watched from the sidelines, his eyes narrowed in suspicion. A former Special Forces operative turned private investigator, Jack had seen his fair share of deception and ulterior motives, and something about the Zephyrians' arrival didn't sit right with him. He turned to leave, his mind already racing with possibilities, when a young woman approached him. "You don't trust them either, do you?" she asked, her voice low and conspiratorial. Jack raised an eyebrow. "And who might you be?" "Amara Okeki," she replied, extending a hand. "Hacker, conspiracy theorist, and apparently one of the few people here who isn't completely taken in by our new alien friends." Jack shook her hand, a slight smile tugging at his lips. "Jack Walker. And no, I don't trust them. Something about this whole situation feels off." Amara nodded. "I've been monitoring their communications since they arrived in our solar system. There are inconsistencies, hidden transmissions, and encrypted data that doesn't match their public statements. I think they're hiding something." Jack's smile faded, replaced by a look of grim determination. "Then let's find out what it is. If these aliens have ulterior motives, we need to know about it before it's too late." As Jack and Amara set off to begin their investigation, Lila continued her discussions with the Zephyrians, unaware of the growing danger that lurked beneath the surface of their seemingly benevolent arrival. The stage was set for a battle that would determine the fate of humanity, and the key players were only just beginning to realize the stakes. In the months following the Zephyrians' arrival, their presence on Earth had become increasingly prominent. They established enclaves in major cities worldwide, sharing their advanced biotechnology and organic computing systems with humanity. Dr. Leela Patel found herself at the forefront of the scientific collaboration, working tirelessly to understand and adapt the alien technology for human benefit. However, as she delved deeper into the Zephyrians' knowledge, Lila began to notice inconsistencies and evasive behavior from her alien colleagues. Requests for specific data were met with vague responses, and certain areas of the enclaves were strictly off-limits to human personnel. Lila's initial excitement and trust began to give way to a growing sense of unease. Meanwhile, Jack Walker and Amara Okeki had been conducting their own investigation, gathering evidence of the Zephyrians' true intentions. They had uncovered a pattern of human disappearances, all linked to individuals who had expressed skepticism or opposition to the aliens' presence. As they dug deeper, they discovered a chilling reality. The Zephyrians were conducting secret experiments on human subjects, using their advanced technology to manipulate and control their minds. Amara had managed to hack into the Zephyrians' encrypted communications network, revealing a plan to subtly influence world leaders and key decision makers, paving the way for a global takeover. The aliens' telepathic abilities, combined with their advanced technology, made them a formidable threat, capable of undermining humanity's free will and autonomy. Armed with this knowledge, Jack and Amara knew they had to act fast. They reached out to their contacts in the military and intelligence communities, slowly building a network of resistance against the Zephyrian threat. They also knew that they needed someone on the inside, someone with access to the alien technology and knowledge. They needed Dr. Lila Patel. Lila was initially resistant to Jack and Amara's claims, struggling to reconcile the evidence they presented with her own experiences working alongside the Zephyrians. However, a shocking discovery in her own lab finally shattered her trust in the aliens. She found a hidden chamber where human test subjects were being held, their minds manipulated and controlled by Zephyrian technology. Confronted with the undeniable truth of the aliens' sinister intentions, Lila made a choice. She would join Jack and Amara in their fight against the Zephyrians, using her knowledge and access to aid the human resistance. Together, they began to formulate a plan to expose the aliens' true nature to the world, and to develop countermeasures against their telepathic abilities and advanced technology. As they worked in secret, the Zephyrians continued their insidious infiltration of human society, manipulating world events and public opinion to further their agenda. The stage was set for a shadow war, a battle for the very future of humanity, fought not only with weapons and technology, but with the power of the mind itself. Lila, Jack, and Amara knew that the road ahead would be perilous, and the odds were stacked against them. But they also knew that the fate of the world rested on their shoulders, and they were determined to fight until the very end. The resistance had been born, and the battle for Earth's freedom had only just begun. The revelation of these Zephyrians' true intentions sent shockwaves throughout the world. As the evidence of their sinister experiments and mind control came to light, humanity found itself divided. Some, still enamored by the aliens' technology and promises of a better future, refused to believe the truth. Others, outraged by the betrayal and the threat to human autonomy, rallied behind the resistance, ready to fight for their freedom. Lila, Jack, and Amara knew that time was running out. The Zephyrians, realizing that their plan had been exposed, began to accelerate their timeline for global domination. They used their advanced technology to seize control of key infrastructure, communications networks, and military assets, effectively holding humanity hostage. In response, the resistance launched a series of daring raids and sabotage missions, targeting the Zephyrian strongholds and seeking to disrupt their operations. Lila worked tirelessly to develop countermeasures against the aliens' telepathic abilities, creating psionic dampening devices and biochemical enhancements to protect human minds from manipulation. Jack and Amara led the Resistance's tactical operations, coordinating strikes against Zephyrian enclaves and rescuing human test subjects from their clutches. They faced not only the aliens' superior technology, but also the challenge of confronting human collaborators who had allied themselves with the Zephyrians, either out of fear or a desire for power. As the conflict escalated, the true extent of the Zephyrians' power became clear. They unleashed devastating weapons that targeted not only human bodies, but also their minds, sowing chaos and despair among the population. The resistance struggled to maintain morale and unity in the face of such overwhelming odds. In a desperate gambit, Lila and her team devised a plan to strike at the heart of the Zephyrian command structure. They had discovered a vulnerability in the aliens' hive mind network, a critical weakness that could be exploited to disrupt their telepathic control and sever their connection to their technology. The final battle was fought on multiple fronts, with resistance forces launching simultaneous assaults on key Zephyrian strongholds across the globe. Jack and Amara led a daring infiltration of the aliens' primary command center, fighting their way through layers of defenses and facing off against the most powerful Zephyrian warriors. Lila, meanwhile, implemented her plan to sever the Zephyrians' hive mind connection. With the help of a team of human scientists and engineers, she unleashed a targeted electromagnetic pulse that disrupted the aliens' telepathic network, effectively rendering them disorganized and vulnerable. In the chaos that followed, the tide of the battle began to turn. Human forces, bolstered by Lila's countermeasures, and the disarray among the Zephyrian ranks, pressed their advantage. The aliens, cut off from their hive mind and their technology, found themselves outmatched by human determination and ingenuity. As the dust settled, the Zephyrians were defeated, their plans for domination shattered. Humanity emerged victorious, but the cost had been high. The world had been forever changed by the conflict, and the scars left by the Zephyrians' betrayal would take time to heal. Lila, Jack, and Amara, hailed as heroes by the grateful populations of Earth, knew that their work was far from over. They had won the battle, but the war for humanity's future was just beginning. With renewed resolve, they set out to rebuild, to heal, and to prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. The age of human supremacy had dawned, and Earth would never again be caught unprepared by those who sought to conquer it.